start right now living an extraordinary life. Join your life coach and favorite auntie, Carla D. Tillery, and co-host LA on the Chair Chronicles. Having those important life talks and giving you advice to help you live your best life. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
The Chair Chronicles, we're back.
Yes.
Right after our holiday break, we are back in the studio.
Yes.
And we want to continue our conversation just about the perspectives of the new year.
Yes.
And how do we stay on track in 2022?
This is a good one. That's a good one.
Listen, we want to stay on track.
Yes, we definitely
Whatever
do.
your goals are,
Yes.
or whether you're a goal setter or not, I hope
Right.
you are. But if not, whatever it is that you are looking forward to and want
Right.
to get accomplished, we want you to be able to do that.
We want to see you succeed.
We want success
Yes,
in
we
2022.
do. Absolutely.
Success all the way
Yes.
around in every area. Every area of our
Very
life.
good, yeah.
So one of the things that I know typically that holds us back is the lack of discipline.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about discipline today.
Good one.
Right?
Good one.
So what are your distractions? And why are you not able to be disciplined to do the thing that you want to get done this year?
This is a good one.
Yeah, discipline.
Yeah.
So I have my own definition of discipline.
Well, let's hear it. We want to hear your definition.
Yeah, because this is not the Webster.
Okay.
Partly, but I put a little spin on it.
We love spins.
I had to put a little spin on this.
Okay.
So I'm defining discipline as the practice of training to produce consistent behavior.
I like that.
The practice of training to produce consistent behavior. So we want to look at discipline as the art of training yourself to develop a consistent pattern, a consistent behavior, a consistent way of approaching life.
I like that.
If you ask me why we can't get things done, it's because we're inconsistent.
Yes.
Right? We operate off of our moods, off of our emotions, off of our feelings, not our belief system.
Right.
And not after some truth. We don't utilize the truth of the matter, the truth of who we really are. And we don't use that as our foundation to really create this consistency.
Wow. I'm telling that definition is right on point.
Yeah, I don't have my whole dictionary of terms.
I think that by breaking it down into those simplistic terms, we get it. The light bulb goes off. And again, I'm not preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to myself.
This is for all of us.
It really is.
All of
it
us.
really is. And I think we do ourselves a very bad disservice by not being disciplined and getting those things done that we want to do, those places that we want to go, where we see ourselves, a day from now, 10 days from now, a month from now, those projects that we keep putting off, or just development. We put that on the back burner because we're so busy and so distracted by everything else, or we make excuses.
And that's it. Yeah. The distractions, or the excuses are usually what we put front and center to say that this is why this didn't happen. Instead of being focused on what I need to do to make sure it happens.
Right.
And this comes through trial and error of so many years of saying I'm going to lose weight, or saying I'm going to write this book, or saying I'm going to start this business, or saying I'm going to do this and connect with my family. We come up with all of these excuses and the blame. The blame game is out there, right? Whether it's on the economy, whether it's on your finances, whether it's on your family situation. We have so many places we put the blame instead of creating this practice of training that will produce consistent behavior.
Yeah. And do you think fear is behind this? That we won't be successful in this, or this is going to fail, or what if? It's the what if.
The what if. Some people do have a fear of success more so than a fear of failing. Because they never had that affirmation and that built-in kind of value that you should be successful, you can be successful,
right.
and that you are designed to be successful.
Right.
And because they don't hear that language all the time, they fear it.
Right. And I think, too, they're also looking at someone else's success.
Yes. That comparative analysis.
Yes. This is an individual journey.
Right.
It doesn't have to look, and it's not going to look like someone else's.
Right. And success, I'm not defining success as money.
That's it.
Success,
That's the other part of it.
That is not an element to me. Listen, maybe I do need to write this dictionary because I need to write down the definition of success.
Yes.
And it's not based on money.
No, it's not.
But it's really based on the well-being of who you are and the fulfillment of your purpose.
Right.
That's how I define success.
That's it. And let me even break it down even further. If I say that I want to take a knitting class. Mm-hmm. I want to learn how to knit. Mm-hmm. Success comes from you researching where do they have classes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And trust me, they have free classes. Mm-hmm. You sign up, you gather your material, you consistently go every time that class is available, bearing that you're not sick or there's something having to do with home and family life and all of that. And you create your first sweater, your first scarf. Mm-hmm. That's success.
That's success. That's right. That's right. It's the production or the product of something that you had in mind, and you can see it, and it's tangible. It's not about how well it looks, right? Or does it fit?
Right.
I remember on the Cosby Show back in the day when Theo had that shirt.
The Gordon Gartrell. Yes.
And his sister, I forgot which one it was trying to knit that shirt.
It was horrible. Poor thing.
But she made a good attempt, bless her heart, right?
She did.
But that was a funny episode. Right. That was a funny episode.
Right.
But yeah, it is like it's working on something and knowing that you completed it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're so hard on how it looks, how it turned out, whether we're trying a new recipe and it doesn't taste good, and all of that. Listen, it's success that you even try a new dish, that you tried and experimented with some new spices. Right. And we don't reward ourselves and acknowledge those simple elements that we can really consider as successful. Right. And this is why so many are depressed. This is why so many have a low self-esteem. Right. Why we have little value of who we are. Right. Because we do not acknowledge where real success really is.
That's it. And I think if we really look at it in a different way.
Right.
We can grasp it and then feel excited about, and that's where the discipline comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm challenging us and all of our listeners to not just list goals for this year. Right. But list what are your distractions. Because if we can rule out what these distractions are, then achieving the goals is that's just simple.
Easy breezy. Yeah.
Simple. And it's done. But we don't often take real inventory. So I thought about something you said. Okay. Because you said when we were talking about perspectives of the new year, you were like, at the end of the year, you do self-cleaning, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking we really need to do self-inventory. A real good block out sometime. You know how they do inventories at stores and they have to close it down. They have to shut it down.
Close it down.
And sometimes it's like a 12-hour period where they dig in and really assess what they have, what's here, what's not here. Right. That's what we need to do. We really need to do a deep dive into what are our distractions and what are our excuses. What do you always say is the reason why you can't?
Right.
What are the distractions? What are the things that hold you back? Right. So let's talk about a few examples. Okay, at work, a lot of times we say emails are distracting. Right. This virtual environment for some Zoom is distracting because there's so many meetings and now you don't have time to walk down the hallway, get a cup of coffee because you go from one meeting at 9:59 to a 10 o'clock meeting and there's no breaks. Right. And I had to catch myself because the other day it was back to back, and before I knew it, I was sitting in a chair stationary on video calls from 8:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock, and I had not gotten up. I had not eaten lunch. I hadn't had no water. All I had was a cup of coffee.
Wow.
And I was just running on adrenaline, running from meeting to meeting. And I told myself when I took a break, I said, Carla, this is your fault.
Yeah.
I told myself, this is your fault. I had not eaten, no water, nothing. And I felt it.
That's what I was wondering. How did you feel at when you finally were able to get up and get that break?
I think I was running on adrenaline at first, but when I sat down, boom, I was done. And then I was trying to stretch my legs. I was like, nope, don't sit down. You need to get up. Right. You need to move a little bit.
Right.
But it was my fault that I didn't build in what I needed to, right?
Yes.
And so sometimes you feel pressure to be so responsive because there's so much going on.
Right.
And it's like, I just got to get through the day. I just got to get it done, right?
Yep.
And so you're just making sure things are happening. Yes. Now, in one respect, I was very productive because I got a lot done.
Right.
However, the other elements of my mental health and my physical health were on the back burner.
Right.
And that's not what I want to do this year. That's not, I was like, Carla, you're not even starting off right. Girl, you done messed up.
Right.
You done messed up.
Right.
So I have to think about what is distracting me.
Right.
And sometimes it is just my workload.
Right. And I think, like you said, something as simple as building it on your calendar. So when anyone else looks at your calendar and say, okay, this meeting is from 10 to 11. Okay, there's not another meeting that happens at 11 o'clock. That next meeting has to fall at least 11:15 or 11 or even 11:30.
That's right.
And being an administrative associate and having had scheduled for people, that was always my rule. Because I would see their calendars and they would ask me, could you put another meeting on? Where? When you have back to back to back, there's no room for you to have lunch. I mean, I used to even block off time on their calendars for lunch and not realizing how important it was just to be able to get something done. Even if it meant sitting still with a cup of coffee and a salad.
Yes.
And say, okay, I'll check my emails while I'm having lunch. I mean, I think that's a little crazy. I think when you have lunch, you're supposed to have lunch.
That's right.
But they appreciated because they felt like a hamster on a wheel. And again, let's just be clear. When we're given projects and we have deadlines, all we want to do is get things done. But at what cost? At what cost? Can't do it.
And so you have to identify what those distractions are in every area. So physical health, we know about trying to get in shape. Everybody's got that. I shouldn't say everybody, but there's a lot of people out there with goals about how much weight they're going to lose, me included. And so we go through all of that. And sometimes we start off really good and then these distractions come, right?
Yes.
Maybe one day you don't feel good, so you don't get up and do your exercise. Or you don't have the right foods in the house that are the healthier choices. And so then you revert back to what's in the house, the junk food or the high carbs or whatever your sort of diet is. We can have the other foods that counter that. And so there's so many. So those can be a lot of the distractions too when it comes to your physical health. And we just talked about mental health. I mean, it's integrated into so many other areas of our life, but not doing self-care, not really taking the time to take care of your body, your mind,
your mental health,
finding time to meditate, finding time to pray if that's what you do, finding time to just relax. Relax.
And it's okay. It's okay not to have something going on all the time. And trust me, coming from an E personality who enjoys the art of just moving around and being out and just doing all the time. If there's nothing else that this pandemic taught me how to appreciate, and that is sitting still. And how important it is.
Yes.
And now I cherish it.
I
cherish it. I really do. I cherish it.
So when I was thinking about this, I'm like, wow, all of these different distractions, and we only just, scrape the tip of the iceberg. There's so many different distractions that I'm sure all of you are experiencing and that we have as well. And the thing that I was thinking about is, again, being disciplined is practice, right?
Yes.
It is the practice of training, which means that you're training your mind, training your body to do certain things to produce a consistent behavior. So as an example, like I really wanted to make sure that I got back on the right bandwagon as it relates to self-care, the multivitamins. So it's mental health plus physical health, right? Getting back in vitamins. I'm one who needs to take a lot of vitamin D supplements. I remember I had taken my last pill probably a couple of months ago. Wow. And then it dawned on me when I was meditating, Carl, this is why you have a lack of energy and a lack of focus.
Wow. I had totally forgotten about it.
Totally forgotten about it. And so I have to be mindful when I'm getting close to put that, purchase in for more of my vitamin D supplements. Right. And so it's sometimes it's the little things, but you have to do the self-inventory.
Yes.
Right? Because you can go weeks and weeks and months, as I did, without even recognizing the effect that it was having on me.
Wow.
And you can keep going, and you can keep going. And then you wonder why you don't have any energy, you don't have any focus, or why you're not accomplishing things. Right. And it's because we're missing sometimes the fine details of things that we know we need to do.
Yeah. And something as simple as taking your phone, which we all have, and I tell people this all the time and they laugh at me, but my phone has so many bells and whistles on my calendar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's just subtle reminders. It's subtle reminders. Okay, Trish, this is your meditation time.
Right.
Or like you said, okay, I'm supposed to be taking my vitamins today. Put that in your calendar.
Yes.
Put it, a lot of
the
people.
Alarm. I do the alarm on the cell phone.
Yeah. And even a little notepad.
Yes.
With those bullet points. But like you said, it is about being honest. And you have to be honest about that. I was a big procrastinator. I would wait. I knew I could get it done. So I would wait. And then I found myself stressed out. And it was by my own doing. And I'm like, okay, instead of procrastinating and knowing, okay, I can sprint and get it done, why won't you take the steps to start working on it now so that way you can get it done without the stress? But like you said, I had to get disciplined about doing it. So I had to start practicing. Yes. When I received an assignment or a project I personally was working on, I started, okay, here are the things that has to get done.
Right.
And then started actually putting dates by them. This is when you want to accomplish this. So by the time the project was due or the deadline,
you're good.
Completed it.
Yeah.
No stress.
No stress. No stress. And Amazon has subscriptions. And all you have to do is sign up for the subscriptions and you can get a repeat order automatically. So I can get my vitamins whether I don't have to worry about forgetting anymore.
Right. Don't have to call it in.
There's so many simple things that we can do to make our life easy. And again, this is about eliminating distractions and taking away the excuses. Right. Because I can always use that as an excuse. Right. But when am I going to do something about it?
That's it.
When am I going to do something about it? And then, like you said, I'm very motivated by setting time. I'm very time oriented. So I do use the alarm function on my phone for a lot of different things. Right. So exercise and getting up. So this is the beauty of the practice of training. I had to start getting back in the rhythm. So it was like setting my alarm to get up earlier.
Right.
After you do that for a while, my body started to automatically shift to getting up without the necessity of the alarm.
Right.
And so that's what I mean. Practice of training.
Yes.
To produce consistent behavior.
Right.
Everything starts to align up when you keep doing it over and over. So here it is. The key to discipline is, one, finding out what your barriers are, finding out what your distractions are, and then using that as a focal point to start to eliminate. That really should be your goal.
Yes. So we start backwards. We put the barriers first.
Address the barriers first. Do your self-inventory. Great. The other thing is to, if you fall off the bandwagon, guess what? Start over immediately.
Yes. Don't beat yourself up. Get up. Start again.
Start over immediately.
Start again. Yeah.
That's it. It's that easy. It's that simple.
It's easy.
You skip a day. You skip a task. You forget about something. You're unable to avoid the distraction or the barrier.
Right.
Just start over. Immediately.
Right.
Don't wait
another
week. Don't wait another month. Get started immediately.
Yeah.
Get started immediately.
Yeah, I like
Even
that.
if it's just a mindset, because everything is not, certain things might have different circumstances.
Right.
But for the most part, make that mental shift to start over and get it back going again.
That's it.
Those is those two simple things.
Yes.
Eliminate your barriers, your distractions.
Right.
And if you fall off the bandwagon, start
again. Start again.
That's it. That's how we continue the art, right, of the practice of training to produce consistent behavior.
That's it.
Because if you can have a consistent behavior, then it becomes a habit. Yeah. When it becomes a habit, then it becomes something very natural to who you are. It becomes
a way
of just the way you live.
That's it.
So that's it.
That's it. Simple.
That's it.
Simple.
So I also wanted to bring in one of our audience members had a comment about the perspective of the new year. And we talked a lot about, because I had a quote from one of my cousins on Facebook about like the close of the year.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so they sent in this comment. Okay? I'm going to pull it up here. And it says, what about the things that are lingering that you don't have the power to close? What about the things that you don't have the power to close? Now, there probably are a lot of illustrations of things that you have no control over.
Right.
And we really weren't talking about things that you don't have control over. Right. We were talking about things that you do have control over. Right. I want to read 2 quotes. Great. And I want to see your reaction.
Yeah.
Here's the first quote. Do not let what is out of your control interfere with all the things you can control.
So true. Because what happens is if you get stuck in that place of just focusing on the things that you have no control over, you forget about the successes that you can have by shaping the things that you do have control over.
Absolutely.
So you're letting this one thing control all these other things that you could be doing or being.
Continue movement forward.
That's it.
And at such time as something allows you to have to stop and pivot backwards,
right,
at least you are 10 steps ahead before you move 2 steps back.
That's it.
Instead of just stopping where you were and not doing anything. Right. So you have to focus on the things that you can control and not allowing the things that you cannot control be your distraction. Be your barrier.
Be your
excuse.
Be
Listen,
your
we
excuse.
in sync today, girl. We are in sync.
Yes.
Right? Here's one more quote.
Okay.
You may not be able to control every situation and its outcome, but you can control your attitude and how you deal with it.
I've heard that quote, and that is the truth.
Bam.
Perspective. That's all it's about.
Bam. Your attitude and how you deal with it.
That's right.
That is something you can control.
Right.
That is absolutely something you can control.
You can.
And guess what? For those who struggle, including myself, it is the practice of training to produce a consistent behavior. We have to learn really how to shift our attitude.
Right.
Even when things are bothering us, we've got to find out our process, and it's going to be different for every single person.
Yeah.
That you have to find that way of letting go that negativity, letting go those things that really will drain you to get to a point where when it happens, you deal with it and you can move on. That dealing with it, there's a lot of different strategies. So it depends on the specific situation. Right. But we have to find a way to process that stuff and move it.
Right.
Move it.
Because another kind of snippet of a quote or a theme that I always hear is, it's not about what happens while you're waiting. It's how you react to how you're waiting. Yeah. So again, we know that there are things that come that shake our world, that cause us to be disappointed. Feel what you feel, but keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
There's a lesson in everything. There's a lesson. So like you said, take a moment, look at it, say, okay, this is how it's making me feel right now, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm not going to let it define me.
So work on the things that you can't control.
That's it.
You can't control.
That's it. Because there's going to be things in our lives, situations, people, places, things that are going to shape how we look at things, where we don't have a way to grip it and change it if we wanted to.
If we wanted to, right.
Right. So what do?
Right.
Okay.
We cannot spin our wheels in a space on things that we have no power or authority to change.
Right.
And so we have to shift quickly to the things that we can.
Yeah.
And
we can
find
do
fulfillment in those things.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So this was good.
It was awesome.
Goodness. So listen, there are so many tidbits here, and I hope that you are able to find time to look at what your distractions are, your barriers, and your excuses. And then really take inventory of those things and start to identify them and rule them out. Right. Find out ways you can, new strategies, new tools to start eliminating those distractions, eliminating those excuses. Because we want you to live your best life.
Yes, absolutely.
Do what you can to live your best life. And listen, if you're looking for a life coach, I am available. Feel free to visit my website at carladtillery.com for more information about signing up for a life coaching session. And as always, we want you to stay tuned and stay connected on
The Chair Chronicles.